Hello, my name is Marisa Frizarin, and I'm gonna present about macronutrients and how to use them in your diet. To start off, what are macronutrients? Macronutrients are the main source of energy that your body uses in order to fuel everyday activity, as well as regulate hormonal levels and all sorts of other actions your body does on a daily basis. It is what calories mean in a food, basically. So when you see the label, uh, whatever calories says is basically the macronutrients divided by their individual caloric value, which we'll discuss later. There are three types of macronutrients. There are carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Carbohydrates are your primary source of energy. They're basically the easiest to metabolize, which is burned to become energy. And they're what people tend to eat the most on a day-to-day basis. Um, they're they're important because every tissue in your body is capable of using carbohydrates as their source of energy because they're really simple to metabolize. Therefore, they're really important. They're also important because they allow the other macronutrients to perform their functions rather than becoming metabolized and used as source of energy. So they're important to making sure other macronutrients are utilized for their functions. The main sources of carbohydrates are starchy foods such as grains and potatoes, and they're also found in sweets because sugar is a carbohydrate. Protein. Proteins basically your body, your dry lean body weight. 50% of that is made of proteins, and they're essential in regulating hormonal levels as well as making sure new tissue can be grown and damaged tissue can be repaired, such as muscle. Um, it can also be used as a source of energy, but because of the main function, it's better for carbohydrates to be used for that function rather than protein, as well as they're not as efficient. The main sources of protein are meats, fish, dairy, and they're also present in vegetables, but in smaller quantities. Fats are basically broken down into fatty acids, which are required for many hormones and uh, many activities your body does on a daily basis. Um, their main function in the body is to become hormones as well as cover membranes and insulate your body from the cold. They also work as backup energy because they're stored in your body and then they can be used and broken down and used whenever your body needs more energy or you're starving or something. They are mainly found in nuts, oils, and some fruits such as avocados. Basically, as I said before, each macronutrient has their own caloric value. So for protein and carbohydrates, their caloric values is equivalent to 4 calories per gram, and fat has a caloric value of 9 per gram. So there's also basic recommendations for how much each person should ingest based on percentage of their total caloric intake, and by this is made by the Food and Nutrition Board. Um, so basically, what you want to aim for is 55% of that caloric intake to be made of carbohydrates, and trying to maintain only 10% as sugars, 25 to be protein, and 20% to be of fats. So the importance of macronutrients is that they're basically the foundation of your diet, and they are what calories mean basically. So whenever someone is trying to diet down or just just try to maintain their weight or eat healthier, it's important to keep in mind of what you're eating, because depending on the percentage of whatever you're eating, it might be more important for you to decrease the amount of fats you eat and increase the carbohydrates for your body to regulate better, or just increase protein for your body to recover better. It really depends, since each macronutrient has their own value and their own function. So basically the next steps and my goal with this presentation is so that to making sure you guys can understand better what which each macronutrient is capable of, what each of them does, and to be sure to introduce that to your diet so that you can achieve your goals of becoming healthier or losing weight or whatever your goal might be. And yeah, keep in mind that protein percentages increase based on more activities, or if you want to weight lift, basically. Yeah, and these are my references. And show yourself. What?